Raisin, my good friend Max von Bismarck, only a few of you know that he ran the World Economic Forum, private equity, or whole finance business, and he has been my mentor at the very beginning of the start of NOAH. Now he's an entrepreneur. Come on, Max, show us your show.
Thank you very much, Marco. It's good to be back at NOAH. In fact, our first appearance with Raisin and Deposit Solutions at NOAH was already in 2016, so we've been part of the community for quite a while. Before I give you all an update on Raisin, I quickly wanted to make one general point. And if you look at what's happening in the world, it's easy to be negative. And at the same time, I'm of the opinion, I'm convinced, that it's a fantastic time to be an entrepreneur. And I just wanted to share 2 data points with you. So around the time that we started, the average per decade globally, new unicorns, was 4 per year. Last year, in 2021, it was 534 in just 1 year. And yes, we're in a bear market. Yes, valuations have come down. Yes, that number will be less, and that's probably healthy. But it still will be a lot more than during the time that we started. And those businesses now will probably be more focused on sustainable growth than last year. The second data point that I wanted to share was around the time that we started, there were about 2.5 billion people globally using the internet. And today, it's almost 5 billion. So more than 2 billion additional people are using the internet globally. And just think about the opportunity that creates for all of the new business and startups in terms of access to data, access to customers, access to distribution. So I think there are great opportunities ahead for entrepreneurs, but at the same time, the world also needs more entrepreneurs to address some of those pressing challenges, and they won't be solved by policymakers and NGOs alone. So for this reason, it's not only great, but it's important that we have a conference like NOAH that not only gets together the entire ecosystem, but also makes an active effort to match some of those challenges with entrepreneurial solutions. The challenge that we tried to address with Raisin was to make it easier for people to save. So we want to democratize access to fair and transparent savings and investment products and help people make their savings perform better. We've tried to quantify some of the impact that we've had so far, and so far Raisin customers have been paid more than 650 million in interest earned. And we did this during a time where most bank customers across the Eurozone were receiving either 0 or were being charged negative rates. Even today, after multiple rate hikes of the ECB, the average that a Eurozone customer saver is receiving at his home bank for overnight is 2 basis points. And for Raisin customers, it's probably around 130 basis points today for overnight and almost 300 basis points for 1-year fixed-term deposits. So you can see that makes a real difference to people's savings and their lives. So how did we do this? We essentially did it by transforming the savings and investment ecosystem. So traditionally, if you were a saver and you were not getting a decent rate at your home bank, your only chance was to go find another bank, open a new bank account, and do this over and over again. And this is pretty hard to do in your home country, but almost impossible to do it across borders. And on the other side, if you were a bank and you needed deposits to fund your balance sheet, which pretty much every bank does, you had to build, run, operate an entire retail infrastructure yourself. And that's very complicated to do this and costly to do this in one country, but very, very costly and complicated to do it in many countries. So what we did with our platform, we transformed this value chain and we essentially turned savings deposits into a marketplace product. And so today, any bank can essentially just connect to the platform and will get plug-and-play access to deposit funding and can reach millions of customers either through and across borders, either through our own B2C marketplaces like Weltsparen in Germany or Raisin in the UK or Save Better in the US, or through third-party marketplaces that we power for B2B partners. And for savers, it means an easy access to best-in-class products. This creates huge efficiency, both for banks and savers, and at the same time, it also creates huge network effects. So the more banks are on the platform, the more products are available to the customers and to the savers, and the higher the value to them. And the more savers are connected to the platform, the more value that delivers to banks because they get a higher market reach and more diversification for their products. And today we already have more than 200 deposit-taking banks connected to the platform, and our own B2C platforms have more than 850,000 customers, and in addition to that, banks can reach millions of customers through our B2B partners. Marco loves numbers, specifically new ones, so I wanted to share a number here at NOAH that we haven't shared. We have recently broken through 30 billion euros on assets under management for the business, which we're quite excited about. And just to put this into perspective for you, when I first spoke at NOAH in 2016, Raisin and Deposit Solutions combined was less than 3 billion in AUM. Another achievement that we are quite excited about or proud of is that over the past 2 to 3 years, we've been able to prove that what works very well in our home market in Germany also works very well in other markets and countries. So today, out of our top 5 non-German markets, 3 of them have already broken through 1 billion euros in AUM. The UK today is our second largest market, and in 2022, the US was by far our fastest growing market. And that's exciting from 2 perspectives. I think, firstly, the list of European fintech companies that went to the United States with the European innovation and have been successful in the US is not that long. And secondly, we think that the US has the potential to become at least as big as our European business. Just wanted to give a quick thought with regard to the macro environment. So for most of the time since we started our company, from a macro perspective, we actually had headwind rather than tailwind, because you had a zero or negative interest rate policy of the ECB and quantitative easing, and that basically made it less attractive for savers to invest in deposits and less attractive for banks to hold deposits on their balance sheet. And now we've re-entered a world of positive interest rates and of quantitative tightening, and that adds a huge additional booster to our growth. On the right-hand side, you can see that since last year, Google search for overnight deposit and fixed-term deposit has gone up 3x, and we also see that in our order numbers, and we also see substantial growing demand for banks to hold deposits. Almost coming to an end in a moment, but we've also seen that in addition to our growing our core business in deposits, we've been able to leverage our B2C customer base to also offer them products that equally create value to them. And so we've seen the platform works very well for passive ETF-based investment products, and we're already today the second largest robo-advisory with Raisin Invest in Germany. And this year we've started to test access to private equity at lower minimums and also to crypto. We've also been able to leverage upon our tech infrastructure core. So we own our own transaction service bank, Raisin Bank, and we've invested a lot in their tech infrastructure, and we've seen that rather than using that just for ourselves, Raisin can offer banking as a service to third parties, and today Raisin Bank already has 40 banking as a service partners, is growing incredibly fast. I want to close with basically where I started. Why are we doing this? Most people don't wake up in the morning and get super passionate about managing their savings. They wake up and they're passionate about their families, their friends, their hobbies, but they want to have peace of mind with regard to their savings. And today, it's probably hard to have financial peace of mind if there's a risk to the planet, its climate, and its biodiversity, and therefore sustainability is also a very important topic for us as a company. So as a company, we fully measure our carbon footprint. We offset every year. Every year we do an analysis what we can do more next year. On the customer side, we are expanding access to ESG ETF portfolios and to let customers self-assemble ESG ETFs. And we're also working on green deposits, but I'm sure there's a lot more than we can do, and therefore it's great to have a conference like NOAH that challenges all of us to do more. And so if there's anyone in the room who has good ideas of what more we could do, please come, contact me, write me. We're excited to be part of this community. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.